Hello, a warm welcome to the series What Negotiation Trainers Don't Tell You but What is Fundamental to Get Better Negotiation Results. We are talking today about a big fallacy that we meet often in negotiation guides, management magazines, or that sometimes we may even learn in negotiation seminars, which has a fundamental effect on our negotiation outcomes in Asia, the MENA region, Latin America, or sometimes even in Europe. My name is Raphael Schön. I help managers to negotiate better without wasting time reading bookshelves of literature. If you want to negotiate better, then follow me on my other videos. Many negotiation trainers don't tell you where the knowledge that we get in negotiation trainings can really be applied. There's often the impression created that the negotiation strategies, tactics, tips and tricks work equally well all over the world, as for example described in the negotiation blockbuster Getting to Yes, which is generally understood as the Harvard concept or the guide to win-win negotiations. Don't get me wrong, Getting to Yes is brilliant. It's one of the best tactical approaches in negotiations. But we could show scientifically that the tactics in this book only work in half of the world and represent a Western negotiation style. Here you see in a brief overview where the Western negotiation style works and where it doesn't.
So now we will look at the scientific evidence concerning this topic. First, what we can say is that negotiation styles differ worldwide tremendously. That makes it impossible to cover everything with a single negotiation approach. So that's basically the essence of the first paper. And in the second paper, I investigated especially the claims of the authors of Getting to Yes that this is a universal approach. So as a conclusion, I found that Getting to Yes mainly represents a Western negotiation style, and there is one problem. The problem is that scholars and trainers worldwide often assume a universality of those approaches shown in Getting to Yes. And this is simply not the case, which I've scientifically shown that the methods of Getting to Yes are not universally applicable. And I show here in 6 exemplary countries where Getting to Yes can be applied with a high likelihood of success. And this is of course in the US, the Harvard method is very likely to work because it represents a US view on negotiations. And furthermore, the UK, in the UK there's also very likely that the Harvard method works, with all its benefits that it definitely has in those countries. So now let's look at those countries where the Harvard method is much less likely to work. First of all, to mention is India, but also China and Japan. These countries, they are culturally so different from this Western idea of Getting to Yes that the successful application is very, very unlikely. So, and now let's look on Germany. Germany has some cultural imprints which makes the likelihood of the successful implementation at least questionable. And how this looks actually on countries on a worldwide base, you see here in the next slide. So there we see that the Harvard method mainly works in the Western world, that you see here in blue, and the application is much less likely in countries of the non-Western world, that you see here in red. And those are many countries. For example, if you look at Southern Europe, application of the Harvard method, less likely. If you look at Southern America, at the BRIC states, Brazil, India, Russia, China, South Africa, less likely. Also large economic nations like Korea, Indonesia, Nigeria, Mexico, also the application of the Harvard method less likely.
So that means most of what we think we know about negotiations is a Western idea. So what does this mean if we are negotiating, for example, with China, India, Mexico, the Emirates, Korea, Japan, Brazil? First, there is no international negotiation style that can be applied everywhere. And second, the Western negotiation style as we know it in these countries most likely won't work. And third, it can be even counterproductive, possibly leading to conflicts or even the break-off of negotiations. So let's get to the bottom line. Don't get derailed. What we are learning in negotiation seminars works mainly in the Western world. As a rule of thumb, the more we go south, the more we go east, the less the Western negotiation style works. And who wants to get better negotiation outcomes needs to use different approaches. If you want to continue reading on this topic, below in the description you'll find the corresponding scientific facts and studies. See you soon if you like, and always remember, knowledge is power.